welcome people, troopers and grinders, to the post UFC 305 press conference breakdown with yours truly, the Idaho Skatesman, and my good partner to my left, right, Hank the Tank.
Yes, sir.
It was a very interesting press conference, if I do say so myself. Mostly between Izzy and DDP. There was a little bit of terrible attempts at trash talk from Mateus Gamrot.
Oh, God, don't remind me.
Other than that, Rosenstruik and Ty kept it very professional. And Steve Ursig and Kai Kara France as well have a lot of respect for each other.
That's true.
And I think that DDP and Izzy do on, a fighting level. But yeah, personally, these two hate each other. And I think that this is going to be.
Why?
I think this will be one of those fights that's going to reflect that in the cage, hopefully. First of all, I mean, what did you think about the press conference just as a whole?
I think it's just one of those press conferences where you watch to see what the guys in the main event are going to say. And it seems to me like the UFC has sort of been on a trend of we're making really stacked pay-per-view cards in the main card. The problem is that none of these guys can talk.
Yeah.
People are here to see the fights at this point. I've been seeing that as a developing trend for the UFC for a while. Good on them for knowing to put some good fights together once in a while. These pay-per-views. The problem is that often fightability does not translate to talking, and talking sometimes it translates to fightability, but often it doesn't. It's the yin and yang of the UFC press conference world. But I'm just glad we had DDP and Izzy finally. We're waiting fucking forever for this. Again, like I said before, it's sort of sus that this had to be in the first place, given how badly Izzy was dominated by Sean Strickland. But we're here, and in hindsight, I'm really glad this worked out and it was put together because, oh my God, dude, seeing Israel Adesanya time, I'm gonna remember that this weekend more than anything else, dude. I don't give a shit what happens on Saturday anymore. I'm just happy that I can retain that in my memory. That he fucking cried. He pulled a fucking Izzy after the Sean Strickland fight, where he was like, "Hey man, that's my dog. You're talking about, okay? You're talking about my family. How could you get so personal after I called you a cracker and said to go fucking Korean? How could you say such bad things?"
By the way, what's up, Irish Animal and Ultra in the chat? Good to see you guys in here. Izzy crying was a visual that is definitely burned into my brain for a long time. Irish Animal says, "How the fuck did he cry?"
It's as DDP would say, he hit a nerve there.
What did he say? If you haven't seen the press conference, I highly advise you go check out some highlights from it because it was, like I said, at first it was really slow and pretty pedestrian, but as some more personal questions got asked, it definitely got personal. They got into the beef, and wow, I mean, just really, what's interesting about DDP is I haven't really been too sold on this guy. Especially on the mic, right? Like, I think after he knocked out Robert Whittaker, we were all like, oh, shit, okay, this guy's the real deal. But on the mic, dude, he is slowly developing into one of my favorite trash talkers in the UFC.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he's not even really, like, going that hard. He doesn't have to try hard. Like, even Conor McGregor at his peak of trash talk, he's very, very, like, he's trying really hard, and it's working,
Yeah, against Jose Aldo, absolutly. Yeah, one of the most
subtle
psychological manipulations ever.
Yes, yeah, he's so subtle with his trash talk, and wow, I mean, I never thought I would see Izzy cry in public because he is so good in public. I'm not a big fan of Izzy's trash talk per se. It's very cringy. But he's still on point. He says exactly what he's got lined out, and Dricus just got him off of his game, and it was hilarious to watch.
Well, honestly,
he says contradictory Chinese dog diddler, aka the last Crybender, aka the Last Genderman.
He's got a lot of little pet names.
Yeah, sorry, I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
God, what was I gonna say? Oh well, I was gonna say that ever since I heard DDP do the "oh yeah, you thought what your parents did to you was bad, Sean. What I'm gonna inflict on you is even worse. I'm gonna bring back all those childhood memories." I was like, dude, DDP can hit a low blow when he wants to. That guy can go fucking low. So like going into this, I also sort of had a feeling that DDP would be pretty good at this press conference because guess who interviewed him the other day?
The MMA Guru.
Yes. And who hates Izzy the most out of anybody on this planet?
You?
Yes, but second place goes to the MMA Guru. So they were coordinating. They had a 30-minute long interview. And then immediately after, dude, Guru did the same thing he did with Sean, where it's like, here is just all the ammunition. Here is all the ammunition that you can use for the press conference, Dricus. And Dricus used 2 of those pieces of ammunition during the press conference. So I knew this is a fucking wrap, dude. If he takes the Sean Strickland approach, Izzy's fucking dead, is what I thought to myself.
Oh, man.
Emotionally dead. They followed the game plan perfectly, like a charm.
Ultra says, I don't think I have cried in public. I have. Let's see. When I was about 10 years old, I went to Seattle, went up to Space Needle.
Seattle.
I was freaked out. Just crying my eyes out. Didn't want to go up there. And then, I'm with my grandpa, and he's like, dude, there's a fucking girl younger than you about to go up this thing. Well, she's not fucking crying, you little bitch, basically. He didn't say that, but yeah, shit. I mean, come on, man. When I was a kid, but yeah, as a grown-ass man. And, there's nothing wrong with crying, like, let's be totally honest. But, at a press conference in front of the man you're supposed to fight.
Yeah.
In the cage in a couple days and in front of all your teammates. Not the best look for Izzy, man.
Dude, that's just Dricus Du Plessis' ability. He can make anybody the town crier as long as he pushes just a little bit and hits those nerves. He can send anybody into a fucking emotional frenzy. Did it with Sean on the fucking podcast and has now done it with Izzy at the press conference. Oh, I was going to say, here's what I was going to say. Izzy was probably crying under those glasses during that Sean Strickland press conference. He had the fucking stupid camo jacket and those big ass glasses. Oh, there's the Prime Minister, Xi Jinping. I was with him in China. He called me the Black Dragon Trust.
Denial says, glad to be here, by the way. I truly enjoy your guys' streams, reasonable logic, decision-making, and still able to have fun on a solid balance, fellas. Hey, I appreciate that, man. More than you know, man. It's definitely not easy to make this much content every week. Hank the Tank, he's been putting in a lot more work than I have, just as far as the fight companions and stuff goes, and doing live chats. So shout out to Hank the Tank, man. He's out here putting the work, so that means a lot to us, man. What is up, CST? Good to see you again. Go follow CST on Twitter. It's excellent just news, reporting and giving you guys everything you need. Denial says he's confused. He's confusing Chinese culture with Japanese, I think is why he's crying. It's funny because, all the Ryzen and fucking Rise kickboxers, they always cry in their post-fight interview.
Yeah, didn't Izzy spend a little bit of time in Japan during his kickboxing days? He must have adapted it from the Ryzen fighters.
I'm not sure. It depends on, because, K1 is I don't know if K1 might be Japanese. I thought it might have been Chinese, but yeah, he must have fought in Japan. Yeah. Maybe he picked up a few things out there.
He's the art of martial crying.
Yeah, for sure. But he's definitely not Loner Kavanaugh, 5-time K1 kickboxing champion.
5-time.
Ah, hell yeah, man. Appreciate you, CST, man. That's what's up. Let's get it.
Press conference. Yeah,
let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. Hank's got some notes.
I have taken my notes. These are my live reactions to the entire press conference as I was watching them live. First of all, I commented that Dricus roasted the crowd, Bilal style, when he was like, "Oh yeah, you're booing me. You should save that for that freaking shootbox team that fucking kicked your asses the other day." Hey.
Well, what was interesting to me is, contrary to Bilal Leon, like I was confident Bilal would win just based off of his energy alone in the lead up to the fight. And Leon was really dismissive of Bilal, you know, whether or not he really actually was heading into the fight. He was super just like, yeah, it's Bilal. Who fucking cares, you know? Dricus kind of came in with that same dismissive energy, if you ask me. And Izzy kind of came in with that same, like, you know, he's super ready for this moment energy.
Yeah.
But
there's another chapter in my story, trust.
Yeah, and you know, nobody knows his story. Okay, let's just be totally honest.
He's got it in his basement. He's been writing it all week.
But he said he was much more respectful of Izzy's in-cage ability, and then obviously just broke Izzy at a certain point. Okay, CSC is going to give us a little info on the Loner Kavanaugh fluff. He says, I think in Europe, Africa, they call it K1, hence why Dana said 5-time K1 kickboxing champion. Well, I looked at his record, man. I don't think that Loner Kavanaugh has ever been in a professional kickboxing match. So maybe you can help me out with that. But
I smell bull.
This presser went from a nice meeting to a damn AA meeting in a flash.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
And I'm so happy. I'm actually really happy that it built, because in the what was it, UFC 293 press conference, Sean fucking he did a shotgun blast like right out of the gate at Izzy, and then I think the energy sort of went down a little bit afterwards, whereas this is the exact opposite. It started out really mellow, and then DDP went a little jab right there, little hook around the guard here, and then bam, fucking uppercut that fucking slept him at the end. So I'm glad that like you had to stay until the very end to get the best of the press conference, which is honestly the best kind of press conference.
Well, I don't know if this is in your notes, but the very end of the press conference when they're like, okay, we're going to get these fighters. Did you see Izzy like slam his hands on the table and just get up? And I mean, he walked super, super fast. He walked so fast off the stage. I thought he was going to like go break down and cry in the back or something. You know, I don't know.
I saw a great comment that was like, he's going to his servants to comfort him after what he done into their arms.
Now,
hold me, mommy.
I don't think that it's okay. Look, I don't live in Africa. I don't live in. I don't know if all of Africa qualifies as a third world country, but I think that it's fairly commonplace to have what you would call a servant. It would just be basically like a maid. I'm not sure if it's like a servant in the traditional sense of like these are people that don't get paid. I think that they do, but again, I don't want to like say, I don't want to totally confirm that. But yeah, it still isn't a good look, especially when you're talking about someone being a colonizer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As Izzy has.
Well, yeah. Again, like Izzy likes to do all the time, he wants to pretend like he was impoverished all his life, and that he relates to the favelas, and that he's just as inspiring a guy as everybody else is. When the truth is, and you could apply this to Dricus too, we don't know all the details about Dricus's upbringing, but we do know about Izzy's. He was fucking privileged as a kid. Okay, he had parents that owned big fucking corporations, companies, and there were times where there were horrible coups and violent revolutions in Nigeria. And his family was just fucking fine. So you want to tell me why that was? I got a few guesses.
But actually, I think Nigeria has been one of the more stable countries throughout the years, and hence why the population's so big.
Yeah. Well, I just read an article that there was a time in the 80s and the 90s that there was a bunch of violence, but Izzy's family was just fucking fine. Izzy admitted it,
which is fortunate, right? Like we don't want him to have. We don't want people to have like a terrible upbringing and go through like a civil war country. But yeah, I think that it's a little overplayed, especially Abdul Razak Al Hassan's like story compared to Izzy's is definitely not comparable.
It's just a matter of
Cool Breeze. Good to see
you. Cool Breeze.
CST says they call them K1 matches because they're under K1 rules, amateur or professional. Again, I didn't see any amateur or professional kickboxing experience on the dude's record, but for another time. The favelas thing, he lives in a delusional reality that he believes in no one else.
Yeah.
he really is just too much into anime, if you ask me.
Yeah, exactly. And he applies it. He thinks that he's the protagonist in every single day that he wakes up in the morning. But my main critique is that if you're going to talk the talk, you better fucking walk the walk. And if you look at Izzy's past, he does not walk the walk. He could have been whatever he wanted to in life because his parents had the means and he wanted to be an MMA fighter. It's as simple as it is.
Well, speaking of kickboxing, though, like Izzy was not the greatest kickboxer, on the planet. That is not true.
No.
Alex Pereira at one point
definitely
was the best kickboxer on the planet in his respective weight class. Only those two very close fights to Artem Vakhitov, which was really strange. Like the first fight, I thought that Alex got the nod like unfairly. I feel like it was sort of a robbery to Alex because they were really trying to push him. And then after that fight, he's like, "Hey, I'm going to MMA. I'm going to UFC after this." And they kind of robbed Alex the other way in favor of Vakhitov, who actually Artem Vakhitov is going to be on Contender Series this year.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, Izzy was never like this super high level kickboxer. That is just totally untrue.
Yeah, but the UFC will make you try to believe it through all their video packages and Joe Rogan basically sucking his ding dong every podcast. That brings me to my next point that I had when I was watching the press conference. The crowd cheered for Izzy because nationalism always beats morals. If the Aussie crowd actually remembered, they knew that Strickland told him to call PETA and that he's a dog diddler. They even asked Sean Strickland when Strickland was going around with the microphone if he really effed that dog. So apparently everybody in Perth has forgotten about that and has accepted their hero once again. But I remember there were one or two times during the press conference where DDP would say something about the dogs and the crowd went, "Ooh," because they knew. They all know deep down in their hearts that they should be calling PETA on their childhood heroes.
That's hilarious, man. That underdog comment was.
Yeah, I'll get to that. Oh my god. Let's read some more comments, man.
CST says Izzy's got too much main character vibes.
Trust.
Khalil Roundtree undefeated against Glory Kickboxers. That is true. Don't forget, Izzy used to follow a girl who does Animal Planet OF. ITP reminded me of that gem in his deep dive into the
diddler.
Poor Dustin Jacoby. What is up, Paradox? The Chad. Mary Chadness. Hey, and speaking of Chads, we got Chad Drew Chesney. He's awful. First one, and the second one, he's great.
There you have it.
It's like rap fans condemning a rapper for not being real, if not from the.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
The underdog thing was hilarious. He said, "Chill, bro."
We should instead of being called the Chat, this should be called the Chad, man. We got nothing but Chads in here.
Grant Hill's daughter is an MMA fighter. Really?
Have it.
Interesting. Izzy is okay.
Absolutely.
Andrew, we've definitely Andrew has drawn clear lines in the sand.
Yes, sir. But then we got my third point, which is Hooker had a scab on his nose, getting beat up in the sparring.
Yeah, what about here?
Some sparring damage that he took.
I don't think it's going to play into the fight. Yeah, personally.
Yeah. Honestly, if I were Dan Hooker, I'd be sparring in terms of stuffing the takedowns and making sure that I can neutralize the wrestling. I hope he's done that a little bit more. That's what he's mainly going to be focused on. If he can keep it on the feet, I actually think that Dan Hooker could beat the shit out of Gamrot.
Oh, yeah. Y'all see Vittori's comment? No, I didn't. Let us know what he said.
Yeah, tell us.
Hey, you know that song by Glorilla? Yeah, Glow. That should be Glover's walkout. Can't do that song is actually a banger. I'm not gonna lie. Vittori, the human heavy bag. Yeah. As far as Dan Hooker is concerned, though, yeah, the problem is has Dan Hooker really fought somebody like Mateus Gamrot, in your opinion?
Well, he fought Gamrot Jr. and Claudio Puelles, but Claudio Puelles was looking for legs like Bryce Hall, but he was doing nothing but shooting takedowns, which is the same kind of spirit of the thing. So if he can like time him with a knee, again, like Sean O'Malley style, like Corey Sandhagen style, we all have that fantasy of, oh, he's got the jump knee and he can put out the grappler. Happens less than you think, especially with guys who are wrestlers because their chins are somehow indestructible. But he's dealt with guys who have shot the takedowns before, but not in such an effective way as Gamrot.
Yeah, I would say Poyes is not a wrestling guy. He's more of a jiu-jitsu guy, and damn good at it too, as far as the leg lock game is concerned. But I don't think that Dan Hooker's ever fought a guy like Gamrot that's going to just, Marab style, just relentlessly go for takedowns. Definitely is concerning.
Right.
And definitely one of the fights that I'm not so sure if Gamrot wins. I'm picking him tentatively. But yeah, we'll kind of go through the picks one last time, just comb over them and make sure all our P's and Q's are minded. Combat Sports Today says Adesanya cried because he can't say he grew up poor. Vittori.
That's true. It's absolutely true. He's seeing his fucking story unraveling and his mind can't fucking take it. It's breaking down. He also pretend that all the bad things that happened to his family are like, oh, we were so poor. We were so victimized. You know?
Well, I'm not going to read that, but thank you for being here, Sniff. Love seeing you up in here, man.
Yeah. A little too.
Yeah. Remember when Whitaker asked what he thinks of Marvin, and the only compliment to Vittori was that he is good at taking a punch and
yeah. I mean, is he lying? Is he lying?
Whitaker's not going to go in too hard on people. He's got the Bushido spirit. UFC fighter Angela. Oh yeah, dude. I actually know about this. So, UFC fighter Angela Hill's grandparents had one of the most famous UFO experiences. They're an interracial couple in Virginia, so they weren't believed at first. Not only that, it's actually Betty and Barney Hill. So, if you've ever heard of Betty and Barney Hill, they're one of the most, as Cool Breeze said, famous UFO encounteries. She's the direct descendant of them. I think there's their granddaughter, actually. Super interesting piece of MMA lore there. And actually, Angela Hill has done like paranormal podcasts where she discusses her grandparents' encounter with a UFO. And yeah, he's actually true. He's actually totally right. They were not believed because of the time period. They were just like, oh, well, they're an interracial couple. They're crazy anyway. So, yeah. But yeah,
well, a lot of beliefs and accomplishments weren't believed of.
I love Sniff's comment on this. The Betty Barney Hill incident was a Judeo-Masonic psyop.
You tell me to say things 5 times fast. Why don't you say those last 3 words a million
Judeo-Masonic psyop, Judeo-Masonic psyop, Judeo-Masonic. Yeah, yes. I don't know, whatever. I know that's what made it gold. He's so nice and didn't want to be mean, but it was still mean.
Yeah, classic. If I had wheels, I'd have a bike.
Yeah, and anyway, as far as Hooker and Gamrot, though, I don't think that cut affects him at all. But Gamrot's terrible. I don't know if this is in your notes, but his terrible trash talk, man.
Rod, yeah, I'm about to get to that.
Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah, we move on to like one of the key dynamics of this whole press conference. Aside from DDP and Izzy, everybody else talking during this press conference sounded like they were on the spectrum, which is, I think, sort of true because either they were going like, "Hey, well, I'm excited," or we go to Gamrot, who sounds absolutely obnoxious. I'm gonna sleep you, boy. In how he talks and what he says, he is fully obnoxious. The only ones he's putting to sleep is the crowd in the afternoon. Yeah. Everyone, as soon as he gets that first takedown.
I disagree. I think that Hooker is always fantastic on the mic. Largely his accent is what makes him sound a little off, but Dan Hooker's, again, we talked about this in yesterday's stream. Remember when Dan Hooker was like cracking the top 5? Like he was that guy for a little bit, man, especially like he took so many fights in a year. And he had that war with Dustin Poirier. But yeah, Gamrot, man, this is some of his worst trash talk.
Horrible.
Probably ever. I mean, he would have been better off just doing the respectful route. Like, yeah, I respect Dan and blah, blah, blah. And actually, that might be an interesting dynamic heading into the fight. Gamrot seems to think he's just going to walk over Dan Hooker en route to an easy decision, which tells me that and actually this was one of the questions asked at the presser directed at Gamrot, was they were like, hey, are you just gonna wrestle? And he's like, I'm gonna sleep your boy. And it's Okay.
I guarantee he's gonna pull a fucking Jan Blachowicz and shoot a takedown in the first fucking 5 seconds of that fight, because it's gonna be like one of those fighters that they fucking pressure a little bit, like, hey, you better get a finish, god damn you. And then of course, Gamrot's a moron. Well, either that or he's got his Professor X brain because he can like just break someone's knee. But it's one or the other, man.
I like Mateus Gamrot. I think he's a fantastic fighter.
I hate him.
Just because he wants to wrestle, I don't think that that's a super fair way to just say, the guy sucks.
It's not about his wrestling. It's how he wrestles.
You have a clip chip in your hand?
Yes. He doesn't go for any other position, okay? He just lays on fucking top of him for 5 minutes and doesn't change and try to get a submission, dude. I've never seen Gamrot try to pull a submission before in his last like 3 or 4 fights, man. He's a wet carpet.
If you don't like Gamrot, then why do you like Merab?
I don't.
Okay, fair enough.
Hey, unlike Gamrot, he actually has a personality and can be a fucking crazy person when he wants. And his craziness is actually entertaining. He's got the fucking Mexican flag.
There is a conspiracy theory out there that my friend and I, Degenerate Dane, have been perpetuating.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, once you're in KSW, once you're out of KSW and you can't juice anymore, your fights start to go kind of downhill. Denial says Biggie and Ty have CTE, leave them alone. Hooker does well. Izzy height advantage did not look like much when facing off a DDP unless DDP had on Tim's. And then, of course, Paradox says they were both wearing high heels. And they're both sons. Rob is annoying. Special needs kid. Why tolerate in the hall of high school? Wow.
Listen, that Merab can run up a fucking mountain. Do not mess with that evil little troll hanging under the bridge, okay? I become a fan of his character, but and actually I will admit that his fight with Henry Cejudo was actually one of the few highlights on that fucking abysmal. What even was it? What was that card? Was it 296 or something?
I don't know.
I think it was 296, but he actually did have an entertaining fight for once. So
bro, he dogged Cejudo like bad.
He's on my good side a little bit.
At one point he picked Cejudo up, walked him across the cage, and slammed him down.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
But Merab, he's so freaking hypocritical sometimes. The Team Welsh, he should not be saying what he's saying. He's being real mean to me. And then meanwhile, he's just fucking stealing Sean O'Malley's jacket and getting in trouble at almost every single UFC show. You're one to fucking talk, you little rat.
Yeah, and you're right. Gamrot does not have any like personality outside of. Yeah, I don't know why they had him up there on the press. I mean, probably just because he's fighting Dan Hooker. But let's move to the next point.
Because he's fighting. Yeah. My next point is that DDP takes the first shot. DDP shoots first like Han Solo. Trust. He implies that Izzy's a pedo and that the authorities should look into his activities. Don't blame him. Might have some truth to it.
Now, I'm guessing you know why. So I'm guessing there was some weird picture that Izzy posted.
Yeah, he posted a picture of like DDP when he was like 18 years old, like inspecting his ding dong or something because of the whole coach thing with Paris. And the coach he's always grabbing a hold of his nether region. Ha ha ha! Look at Dricus, he's so weird," said the weirdo. And then Dricus pulled an Uno reverse card and was like, "Looking up pictures of me when I was a teenager. I feel like the authorities should know about this."
What was the picture, though?
It was like him. I'm not sure. It was like him shirtless when he was young, like 18. And so
that's it.
Are you looking for photos of me?
Yeah, I'm looking for this picture. I'm not going to show it on the screen, though.
Strippers and grinders in the chat, please give us some more context for this.
Yeah, I don't. I'm curious, but all I see is a really fat guy when I look up DDP embarrassing photo.
I don't know, man. What was it? Shirtless and looking at his meat. Oh my.
What? All right, but I don't think that's like grounds to just like. I don't know. That's weird angle from Izzy to take, if you ask me.
Yeah, it is.
I think Dricus definitely wins that round. So,
but in general, he should be calling the authorities, whether they be the police, the FBI, or PETA. Any of those three organizations. But then I noticed that Tai Tuivasa's pals with Dricus because they bet on a soccer game at some point, which is a wise move. He took the J. Cole route, but I'm trying to imply he ducked out real quick, and he's pals with the guy who's about to absolutely destroy the other guy. Also, I noticed that Tai Tuivasa's hairline is somehow back. It is fully back, if you notice. It's like right close to his forehead, dude. There was a point where I think it was just like the shape of his hair that it was like that, like it had just weird bumps, and then like the hairline was like back here, and I was like, oh Jesus Christ, the hairline's declining too, along with his career, dude. It's fully back. And I think we're gonna have a Damon Jackson effect. That hairline is gonna motivate him and put the energy. And also, I think Biggie Boy said at one point that I'm not going to be shooting any takedowns on Tai Tuivasa. This is going to be a stand-up war. I'm more confident in my pick of Tai Tuivasa.
Well, he also said that he's not going to get into a brawl with him.
I see. So he wants it to be technical.
Yes. And Biggie Boy is capable of having a boring fight. But what's weird to me, man, is like people forget, man. People forget, man, when he was coming into the UFC, he was knocking out everybody. Cans alike, and then he split Alistair Overeem's lip up to his cheek.
That was crazy.
Yeah, so, I mean, but again, that fight was terrible up until the very last seconds when Rosenstruik had done that. I think Alistair is a more patient fighter than Tai. I mean, obviously, but yeah, that's the one fight I'm not sure about. I do have Jairzinho to get it done by decision, but yeah, he could definitely catch one of Tai Tuivasa's hands. Heavyweight's gonna heavyweight.
Yeah,
like he said, he ain't moving forward.
Whamp whamp whamp. What a coward! Anyway, I also noted that Kai Kara-France has very little charisma and looks like Frances McNormand in Nomadland. If you've seen that movie, she's just fully shaved there, and she's got her face that's like really skinny down to here. She looks like a chemo patient. So.
Yeah, I thought that Kai having a lot of respect for Steve was interesting, but it's just like, dude, that's going to be probably, as Denial said earlier, like the two most dangerous man on the card, Biggie and Tai, were doing the least trash talk. But on the flip side of that, Kai and Steve, I mean, they're going to have a fucking banger of a fight.
Yeah,
there's no way that fight.
Yeah, it's going to be all action either way. It's going to be crazy. Both men are going to be coming forward with some shots. Unless, actually, that gives me confidence in Steve Erceg because he knows how to move backward and hit people with punches. That's how he knocked out Matt Schnell. So I feel like he might time Kara-France.
I feel like I would have liked to see a little bit more attempts at trash talk between the two.
Yeah, seriously.
Because there's just really no hype for this fight other than the men's skills.
And that brings me to saying that Steve Erceg sounds tistic, but he's innately likable, so I don't mind. He's just like, and I'm really looking forward to this really exciting stuff, and I'm so happy that the crowd has embraced me, and yeah. But I'm glad that they didn't take the Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker road of like, oh, he's from New Zealand. He's not even from here. Botched. He doesn't even have Australian identity. This guy Kara-France. He's an imposter. Botched.
Biggie decision is plus 500. Easy money, says Paradox. KKF not having Pat Barry with him was surprising. Was he training with Pat Barry at one point? That's weird.
Guess so. That's
Kai's just a little gremlin. Steve's the better MMA fighter all around, and that's why I think he won. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's a good little Aussie, Oceania bout, though. I'm really excited to see the fight.
Kai Kara-France's entrance might have Steve Erceg pissing himself a little bit on the way there because he has that fucking demon face that he comes to the octagon with, but doesn't show in the octagon sometimes. I will say though, that was a fucking robbery against Amir Albazi. Full stop. Like, it is absolutely insane that he lost that fight to him.
I don't even remember that fight at all. Honestly.
Yeah, that was the last fight that Kai Kara-France even had. Went over
and Amir Albazi.
Apex, and then I think Kai France outstruck him for at least 4 out of the 5 rounds and somehow lost that little fucking weasel.
Well, the UFC really wants to push Amir Albazi when he comes back. Oh, okay. He says KKF equals Thug Rose. That was the joke. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He did look
like
notice
that. Did you notice that Izzy was shouting out his team? And he was like, oh, yeah, Dan Hooker. I think he may have said somebody else. And he did not mention Kai. I thought that was kind of interesting.
That was messed up of him. Maybe it was just so that he could like segment Kai France into his little beef with Steve Erceg and give him his shine. But come on, dude, it's your team. He's sitting right next to you.
Small ball Giles, Barry's type.
Yes.
What is up, Sean? Good to see you.
Leprechaun is in the house, man. So anyway, on to my next point. Thank God DDP and Izzy elevated this thing. The rest of it was fucking rotten, in my opinion. The beef between DDP and Izzy is what everybody's going to remember, and no one's going to remember what happened in between all of that.
I agree.
No insults, no insight into how the fight's going to go other than Biggie Boy. Jesus Christ, thank God for it, DDP.
Olberg, that's who he shouted out was Olberg. He always shouts out since he can't talk about Blood Diamond anymore.
Yeah, he's gone. Bye, bitch.
Yeah, poor old Mike Mathena never got his chance to.
Yeah,
rip Blood Diamond, as Paradox says.
Yeah, you can rest and piss, Blood Diamond. You were fucking shit in there, man.
Oh yeah, Brother Lynch shout out.
Yeah, 1 down, 10 to go. Come on, let's destroy the entire city kick.
Oh, here we go.
Can you do an impression of Izzy saying, I'll give you kids bad like Barry, trust. Hey, I'm gonna fucking deflower her rose like Nama Yunus. Botched.
Wow.
Hey, I that came right out of my fucking ass at the end right there. Came out of my ass like I was Dudakova. Trust. Anyway, Dan.
Oh my gosh.
Dan Hooker gets credit for his fit, but Lee never will. There is no justice in the world. Poor Lee Jingliang, man. He's on the card. Let him on. He finally has his suit ready. Damn it, man. No justice for the Lee.
Yeah, justice for Lee. Hashtag.
Yeah. Izzy and DDP stare down each other in a semi-serious, semi-romantic way. DDP's coach and the puppy are getting jealous. Both the lovers are we're on edge during that point because are they going to steal my man away from me? Shout out to the puppy and also DDP's coach.
Wait, so is this trust thing? Is that something that Izzy actually said? Trust.
Yes, he is. I'm going to put on the performance of a lifetime, some stylebender, trust. And Michael Vittori, he ain't got nothing, that little Italian, trust. And then he just a little with the microphone.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to show my skill level. I'm going to show that I'm still the best. They not like us, as Kendrick Lamar said. I'm going to put him out like he's from fucking Europe. Check 23andMe, trust.
No. Fantastic. And then the audience is giving applause for that impression.
Thank you. But so yeah, they stared each other down. It was romantic. I'll be honest. I was starting to feel the hormones flow just watching that shit. Going back to my Stonewall days. But anyway, next point. At first, the interviewer didn't mention underdogs when he asked Dricus Du Plessis about becoming the favorite in the fight, and I got worried that Dricus wouldn't take full advantage of that because that was Guru and his game plan. Like, as soon as they mention that you're an underdog, hey, I've never been under a dog. Hey, But at first I thought it wouldn't work out. But then Izzy just had to open his mouth, as he always does. And Dricus smacked him across the face with the dogs on the brain line. Izzy froze like Elsa. Black.
Yeah, I thought that the face-off was interesting, and there was multiple times throughout the presser where Izzy was like the first to break, as far as the stare down went, and then the actual face-off, he started trash talking Dricus, and Dricus didn't say anything.
Yeah, but eventually he did fight back, and God, Izzy's Achilles heel is that he just doesn't know how to shut up sometimes when his opponent doesn't get the best of him.
Yeah.
Hey, what am I, the underdog? When was I the underdog? Hey, stop talking about dogs. No one mentioned it, brother.
That was when the presser really just like shot up in entertainment value.
Yes, sir.
But if you have ever seen Futurama,
Boom, boom, boom.
there is a line I like to quote, which is like, somebody's like, Fry, what did I tell you about ending all your sentences or all your stories one sentence early? That applies to Izzy, man. If he would just shut the hell up, just end his stories one sentence earlier, he would be so much less cringy, man.
Yeah, but instead he had to have that little bit of extra. Hey, man, I'm the favorite in every fight. Whenever Izzy's in the cage, I get it done. I'm gonna be the 2-time champ and the 3-time champ, and that's totally prestigious and not a sign that I suck at all. Trust. But then DDP fucking caught him, dude. He finally got the dog bit in there. It was coming close, dude. I thought he wasn't gonna do it, but after that, I think Izzy's fate was fucking sealed. He was about to hit him with the final fucking blow.
Well, and then like I said, Izzy, he's always super clean, super good on the mic. Like maybe not clean as far as like, not adult content, but like, yeah he's always super.
He's got dog in his mouth.
He's always super like, focused in. And you could see Izzy when DDP said that he was like, like, oh fuck, shit, he got me, like he didn't really have any good comeback.
A little bit like, oh god damn it.
Yeah. But what was even more interesting is Izzy's parents being in the front row.
Yeah, I mean, here comes some incoming cringe, dude. It's gonna happen in like 5 minutes. But it's funny that Izzy actually wasn't all that shook by the dogs line because I know that he probably expected it. He was like, oh, he's going to mention the dogs, and I'll counter it with something cool because I got my one-liners in my joke book, and I'm going to throw them at him. Trust. But he was not expecting what DDP would follow up with. And then I wrote, Gamrot is such a fan favorite. It's not like everyone hates his guts except JL. That can't be the case. Everybody loves Gamrot.
I'm in there too, man. I don't hate Gamrot. I like the guy, but
he just dislikes him.
Yeah, I understand the hate that he's getting, but I think it's a little bit unjustified. Most people just, like you said, you're just bleed guy. I've become a little more of that, but yeah, it's just like.
Well, I love some good grappling when I see it, dude. When I see Luana Santos or I see Renato Moicano have some good performances, then I'm excited to see some grappling.
Wow, that is another comment from Sniff. I'm not gonna read, but hilarious nonetheless.
Sounds good. Sniff always coming in with the fucking off-cuff shit. We appreciate you, Sniff. Unfortunately, I need glasses because I wasn't able to read what you said there. But next time. And then we get to our main event for the press conference. Nail in the coffin. DDP breaks Izzy with the servant's line. And Izzy pulls a Strickland and freaks the fuck out and just starts yelling at him, lashing out, trying to find whatever fucking bullet he can graze DDP with, but all of them are fucking missing. Izzy saying he's not Dricus's man, bitch, but you're really DDP's bitch now, man. And I'm not your buddy, friend. I'm not your friend, pal.
It would be hard. It's hard to believe me if I call you a bitch while I'm crying.
Yeah, you seem more like visually like the bitch. And also, was he trying to imply that Dricus was gay there? I'm not your man. You can't touch this. No.
I mean, I would say there's a lot more proof out there that Izzy swings the other way than Dricus, but that's just me personally.
They both have their sus moments.
Yeah, for sure. But I thought it was interesting that Izzy's counter to that was like, you don't know my story. And by the way, I'm going to be using that line a lot throughout the years because that was really funny.
Oh, cringy.
And it's like, dude, we don't know your story. Well, it's like you could say the same for Dricus. Like, you don't know his story. You know what I'm saying? But then he said, I don't think
anybody really knows his story. I don't think anyone knows his story.
Right. I mean, yeah. But I think he said that he said me and my father had to get up at 4 a.m. to clean a bank while my mom worked as a nurse. I thought that was kind of interesting. Oh, shit. I think the tank's got some grub there.
Got my rabbit food on me. Trust. Hey, I'm going to get hoppy like Peter Rabbit. Trust. But anyway.
Well, his name is Peter Cottontail. But
oh, that's right. Oh, there was a Peter Rabbit out there. I don't know.
I mean, Peter Cottontail is a rabbit.
Yeah. But he said, "Oh yeah, you don't know my story. We were up at 4 a.m. cleaning bags while Mom was becoming a nurse that one time. I'm totally a victim here." And they show Izzy's family, and they're like, shut the fuck up, Izzy. Stop talking. We're watching this. Don't cut to us, please. It's just Izzy's family is a weird thing. Like, you don't ever see them in interviews. You don't see them anywhere until they're like at the show or right behind him during a press conference or something. But dude, they're fucking mafioso family. I'm telling you, dude.
Oh, well, I'm not going to make those claims about Izzy's family. I don't know Izzy's story.
I don't know Izzy's story.
Yeah. But I don't think that they were like as cringed out as it might seem. I think they were just kind of like sitting there, like, you know, supporting their guy, which is good, you know.
I was bullied in high school because I was a freak. Trust. But yeah, Izzy cries. I think at one point he's just like, "Hey, dude, I may be crying, but I could cry and kick this guy's ass at the pay-per-view. I could be a man, you know." Meanwhile, he continues to cry and not act like a man. Then John Anik's like, "And we'll see you all tomorrow and Saturday." And then
well, he walks through, and then one thing I noted was like the weird thing is he kept doing with his sleeves and the things on it, and he kept looking at his pearls. By the way, remember when Izzy had the pearl necklace on?
He did?
Oh my god, I have to pull this up because yeah, I thought that was weird. What did you make of Izzy's weird twitchy like thing with the sleeves and looking at his watch and his pearls? And that was weird.
It might have honestly been nervous energy because like DDP hits those nerves there, and then Izzy has to come up with this one-liners, Idaho Skatesman, and that's a lot of stress. You know, you have to just pull that out of your ass, and you know he had to just shuffle a little bit so that he could get the creative juices flowing.
Oh yeah, he had a pearl necklace on when he confronted Dricus in the cage, if you remember.
Oh my god, that's right. He was definitely clutching his pearls that night upon seeing DDP knock out Whitaker. He's like, "Oh no, what is my ex-girlfriend gonna think about this?"
Yeah, I got it up right here.
"Hey, I thought that I was Bruce Wayne in his origin story, but I was really Martha Wayne when she got shot by that guy, Joe Chill, in the alleyway. Trust. Give me a pearl necklace." "Ah, I gotta get it away."
He's in that every presser he's had since he got all the jewelry with the champ money. Okay. Jose Quinones started wearing one after and still wears it. That Funko Pop collecting Pokemon loving weenie. Hey, look, man, I got some Pokemon plushies myself, man. All right. Pikachu is actually on my dashboard. But you know, whatever. I don't know. I grew up with Pokemon, so go screw yourself.
No Cool Breeze. DDP can just win in dominant fashion and just beat this freak's head right into the mat until it's fucking bloodstained. That's what I'd like.
I think a double KO would be sick. I'm hoping that Cool Breeze's prediction comes true. Izzy had a pearl necklace on and a shirt that said "Straight Out of Compton."
Yeah,
I think you misspelled Compton there, but
yeah, I think he meant "Straight Out of Cumtown." I think that's what he meant. But anyway, so. And then Dricus at one point said, "Hey, you can. I don't give a shit about your story. I don't give a shit. These are facts. You gotta accept the facts. The facts." And then I wrote out in real time, "Go cry a fucking river," Izzy. And then
is that a what's it called? Vince McMahon reference? Should I bring back the Vince McMahon voice?
"Go cry a river, Austin. You're fired." Izzy Adesanya.
"I want you, Izzy, and your dog in a ladder match."
Oh, he'll pull a 1999. "I want you, boss man, in a dog kennel from hell match with
a Hell in a Cell match
with dogs in the background roughing and aren't they so scary? Watch out, big boss man.
I want you at WrestleMania.
I want Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns in a dog food eating match.
Oh my God.
Yeah! They actually did that.
As I always say, oh, by the way, do you have any more notes?
Oh, yes, I do. So I said, "Go cry a river" in real time. And then 2 minutes later, Izzy starts crying. And that was fucking fantastic. And I said, let those crocodiles tears out, bruv. The only thing Izzy's manifested for himself is a living nightmare again come Saturday. And if anyone manifested this, it was DDP and the Guru.
Yeah, I manifested this line is definitely played out. A lot of Izzy's lines are totally played out, by the way. Yeah, I'm pretty sick of Izzy's trash talk, man.
I think it's funny how almost every single one of his cringy lines is fucking blown up in his face over this last year, dude. Everything he said has come true for himself. It's awful. But then my last comment, and I think this is what we can all agree on. Thank God Dana White wasn't here to ruin the tension for this fight, because he absolutely would have. God bless you, John Anik, for just letting them fucking talk, because that's your job.
Yeah, I thought that John kind of ended the press conference early. It was only 30 minutes.
It's always 30 minutes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Sometimes it's 20 fucking minutes. It's awful.
And actually, you know, I thought that some of the people asking questions were asking really dumb questions, as per usual. But yeah, I'm just glad that we got this one. It was definitely a lot better than their weird, no hype press conference like months and months ago. Yeah, whatever that means. Presser was good. If you had to rate the press conference, what would you rate it?
I'd give it a 7 to 7.5 out of 10, just for the Dricus and Izzy trash talk alone. It actually could get people to buy the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
based on the headlines, which is what is supposed to happen with a press conference. And people forget, man. People forget how the press conference is supposed to work, man. You're actually supposed to sell the fucking fights, you idiots.
People forget that I'm a comedian.
Yeah, the steel cups really changed the game.
Did you know that in Joe Rogan's latest stand-up, he actually used Brendan Schaub's jokes?
He's a fucking Amy Schumer now, isn't he?
Dude, I've never thought Joe Rogan was funny as a stand-up comedian.
He's awful.
If you have to hump the stage to get laughs, Eddie Griffin, he has humped the stage before in his sets, but the difference is he's actually hilarious.
Yeah, and if you need to only talk about your fucking male hormones and eating antler meat to get a standing ovation, just fuck you, man. Should have never been a comedian. Stick to podcasting. Stick to being on TV shows where you're supposed to read a script for people to laugh.
Yeah, that's the other thing, Denial. He says Rogan was never a good comedian. He yells funny stories is all he does. Yeah, if you have to yell to get laughs and do weird things, and that's where he gets the majority of laughs. But anyway.
He's like, Izzy Adesanya, trust.
So I think that's it for the presser. It was, I give it a 7, just based on Izzy and Dricus alone, which is really all that matters.
There is the question, though. Do you think this press conference affects Izzy's performance come fight night?
I was going to talk about that because I was going to get into just kind of going back over the picks, making sure all our T's are crossed, our I's are dotted. As far as the main event is concerned, I know you have Izzy to lose via finish. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
This gives me just much more confidence in my pick that Dricus is going to win this fight.
Yep.
I'm still not counting out Izzy entirely. He is capable of a good highlight reel knockout. I don't think that that's unfair to say. But yeah, just in general, this makes me much more confident in my pick of Dricus and a possible finish. But I would love to see that. But a question I'll throw to you is, do you think that Izzy retires with a loss here?
It's tough. I think I could see a potential future where they book the Israel Adesanya Khamzat Chimaev fight as one last dream fight that gets Izzy a bunch of money before he ducks.
I would counter that and say that I think that the Pereira fight up at 205 eventually. I'm not saying now or like even in the near future. I think eventually that's something that Izzy's gotta, and Alex too. I would like to see happen. I understand they've already fought a bunch of times. There may be some fatigue on that fight. I actually think that if Khamzat wins against Whitaker, he's getting Dricus, no doubt about it.
Right. I think there's a situation that not a lot of people are talking about, man, where Israel Adesanya beats Du Plessis. And we've seen that, dude, Alex Burr is getting booked against fucking Khalil Roundtree when he's, failing a drug test and then is gone forever. just coming off of a win over Anthony Smith, and he's getting a title shot over Magomed Ankalaev. Dude, if they could book that shit and get away with it, they are absolutely going to book Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. Because they don't.
I think that there's a case that we see another John Jones fuck up, and in place of that MSG card could be Izzy versus Alex.
It's a Nostradamus moment from the Skatesman. Mark it down on your calendars, guys. It might actually happen. But dude, the UFC specialty is booking Izzy in title matches coming off of losses. So it's just more of the fucking same.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and that's really a sticking point of this fight's just like, and the UFC's laziness, to book fights. Although I will say this is definitely like the biggest draw you can make for a middleweight title bout. I don't like the fact that Izzy's getting this title shot off of
I hate it.
a loss. But to be fair to them, Sean Strickland and Robert Whittaker are the two guys up next for title shots, and he's already beat them. So
right, yeah.
But yeah, as far as the last minute picks go, I mean, I just want to say that no matter, I've never picked a perfect card. I always get something wrong. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to run back through the picks really quick before we wrap the show up. Guys, in the comments, give us your picks. Let us know which way you guys are going on some of these fights. I'd be interested to hear. I always love hearing from the audience what their picks are and what their angles are for the fight.
By the way, Skatesman, speaking of Pereira, if Israel needs a shoulder to cry on, he doesn't have to go to his servants. He can always, Adesanya, come to daddy. Shama, come to daddy, Israel. So that's what Izzy's going to do in the light heavyweight division.
So what about you? Are you more confident in your pick of Dricus?
Absolutely.
Tell me what your method is and everything.
I think I still got him by round 3 KO. I'm a very stubborn man. I don't change my picks very often, like Sean or you. But basically, okay. So what I was trying to say is that after Izzy gets knocked down or something bad happens in the fight, I've noticed that Izzy tends to freeze like Elsa. And then later into the fight, dude, he breaks down. Oh, dude, Cool Breeze pulling out the Mr. T line. Prediction? Pain. But, once Izzy gets knocked down, I think that Du Plessis is going to crack Izzy with a shot. I think he's got too unorthodox of striking not to catch Izzy at some point. And Izzy gets scared, dude. He gets very tentative. He goes on the back foot. And that's Dricus Du Plessis' bread and butter. And I think he's going to get a lot more takedowns than I thought he would, just based off of Izzy being just so fucking paralyzed in this press conference. I think he's going to be a lot more rattled going into this fight.
Urseg in France, for me, doesn't really change much. I think that Urseg could get a KO. I'm not sure if Kai has ever been knocked out. Oh, he was. Oh, yeah, that's right. That vicious body kick that Brandon Moreno hit on him. Kind of out of nowhere, too. I don't think that his durability is like super in question, like as far as his chin is concerned. I still do think that it's possible Steve Urseg gets a knockout, but yeah, I'm still going with him by decision. What about you? I'm guessing you're not changing on this.
No, not at all. I think this Urseg by decision makes all the sense in the world.
I think Urseg is one of the clearest cut guys that's going to win. But yeah, I mean,
he's just got so much potential in everywhere.
Kai does have a lot of power, and for being kind of sort of now in this newest era of flyweight, sort of undersized for the division. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a chance he could win, but yeah, I'm still definitely going with Urseg. Gamrot and Hooker. As Denial said, all we can really hope for is a Dan Hooker sprawl and brawl. He's never really fought a guy like this. I think that there is a question about Gamrot's gas tank heading into the later rounds. If this was 5 rounds, I think that Hooker may have a better chance here. And I still think that he will surprise us in moments. I think he'll do a little bit better than we're expecting. But, yeah, it's so hard for me to break on Gamrot. Though I really, really like Dan and I want him to win.
Yeah, I want him to fucking flatline Gamrot.
And that could be playing into it. I mean, it's possible that Gamrot even gets a sub, if you ask me. But, yeah.
I still think it's bad that Hooker has a fucking mark on his face from training sparring and not, like, wrestling defense. I'm sure he trained it. I'm sure he did, but a mix of fucking both. Come on, dude. You got to be doing stuff and takedowns because you're good. You're just good on the feet. Pull a Max Holloway. Hey, man, I know I'm good. I'm good in there. I just have to stuff the takedowns.
Yeah, true. Andrew says MVP is fighting. Musical is live, and he's playing his songs in a bar. Well, there you go. Urseg by sub in the second. All right. I like it.
Not a bad prediction from tonight.
Did you hear that Connor is about to leave by next year to retire? Yeah, I'm not believing any news I hear about Conor McGregor at all, positive or negative. That's just me. And actually, it looks like, yeah, only 18% of Topology is thinking Dan Hooker wins. Most of those people are thinking he wins by KO if he does win. But yeah, 79% of people got Gamrot by decision and 12 by sub and only 2% by knockout.
Yeah. I'm just not looking forward to watching this live, Skatesman. I'll be honest with you.
I don't know why. I don't know why it's. Maybe I didn't save this one, but yeah, decision for Rosenstruck is my official pick.
You didn't change? Didn't change based on the press conference?
Nah.
All right. Props to you.
What is Dylan talking about here?
Okay. Nice.
Good to see you, Big Red, my good homie.
Mod your own comment, Dylan.
But yeah, I'm sticking with Rosenstruck by decision. Hank the Tank still got tied by KO 1. Lee and Carlos Prates. I think I got KO 2 for Prates. I think that if we're underrating Lee, it could go to Prates by decision. But yeah, I have no confidence in Li Jingliang anymore. His career trajectory has just gone on a downhill slide, and Prates is coming on. And when you're coming on, you gotta come on. So,
yeah, watched. Just ask fucking Lily how I treat the coming on.
Any extra analysis or change of heart here?
Yeah, I had him by round 3 KO. I've actually got it later than you do. But again, Li Jingliang had back surgery. It might have been botched back surgery because he's been out for a very long time since fucking 2022. So I don't think it's looking good for Li Jingliang. I feel like we're going to get a different Leech in there from the one that beat what's his name? That went to a close decision with Daniel Rodriguez and then beat Muslim Salikov. He's just not the same fighter anymore.
Yeah, I agree. So Junior Tafa, Walter Walker. I'm still going Junior Tafa KO 1. I don't think that Walter Walker has ever been knocked out, though.
I don't think so.
No, his only loss was to Lucas Brzezki. So yeah,
could have been debut jitters.
So this is definitely one we're disagreeing on, and I like it. I like the disagreement.
Yeah, it's just a matter of guy who can't get any offense versus guy who doesn't have any defense.
I think that Culibao Ramos decision is pretty clear cut.
Yeah,
this is just like one of the only fights that I'm not sure about right here, man. Is Casey O'Neill, Luana Santos. I still think Casey has a good chance to win this fight, but I think I just slightly edge to Luana. No Diddy to Luana Santos.
He's edging.
But yeah, what say you?
Or Jones. Luana Santos, I think is just good. I think her takedowns are good. I think a grappler is not what Casey O'Neill wants as her next opponent because I saw her get fucking ragdolled in her last fight. She did not look good. If it was someone who was like a mid striker who like Amanda Ribas, I could see like Casey O'Neill having a back and forth fight with her, but for this one, it's just, Santos gets the takedowns and then she's on your back. And that's as simple as that. And
do you think that the short notice nature of this fight plays anything into it?
I think if anything, it benefits Luana Santos because she's active, because she just competed in the cage. She knows the psychology, whereas O'Neill has just been out fucking forever coming off a loss. I just think that's a bad look. And Santos, I mean, we've seen these fucking big Brazilian women fucking gas out going into round 2 and then fucking crumble. Like, what was that one fight with? It was that blonde girl, like Denise Gomez or something. And then she shot a bunch of takedowns, didn't work out. And then it was a fucking sloppy affair. She still came very close to winning that fight against the stand-up opponent. And I feel like even if Luana doesn't get Casey down, I think she still has solid enough striking that she can make this at least a very close fight. And then I think the takedowns will just sort of seal the deal for her. If not, get a submission, dude. Casey O'Neill, I just feel like she's so fucking weak when she's on her back, you know? No Jones.
Yeah, and Tapology Crew's going with you. I think that the odds are pretty good for this fight.
What it do? Hank Tank Crew, hey man, listen.
Yeah, Herbert Burns definitely getting finished. Tom Nolan's definitely
getting finished.
Alex Reyes, I think Kamon's definitely getting finished.
That fucking streak right there.
I'm going. It looks like my picks didn't save, but yeah, Stuart Nickel by decision definitely is the way to go.
I'm glad that I pulled a Roger Ebert and got you to twist your thumb.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure about Jesus Aguilar's grappling. But yeah, man, I mean, unfortunately, I'm going to get a pick wrong. And I don't know. I think that the closest fights on the card are going to be Casey O'Neill, Luana Santos. We still don't know a lot about Stuart Nichols' ability in the UFC level. And same with Walter Walker and Tafa. I mean, I know you got Walter Walker by decision.
Right.
Or do you have him by KO? Sorry.
I somehow have Jack Jenkins by knockout.
Oh, no, it's not Walter Walker.
Oh, no. I have him by decision.
Okay, yeah. I think that's definitely a possibility. Junior Tafa's KO or bust.
Yeah. But he's got that Carl Williams energy, you know? He'll be able to get people down.
But those are the three fights I'm just like not super sure about. And also Prates and Li Jingliang. I think that there is a case that if Lee is recovered well, he can win this fight for sure. Just outlasting Prates and just landing them more volume.
Listen, I know that my underdogs can lose and that I'm probably going to lose this one, but I'd rather go out on my shield and have faith in people I actually think will get a win. So I'm just sticking with my morals here.
Also, Biggie Boy by second round KO. Ty loves chaos and usually doesn't succeed in it, so he will push and will regret it. Rip Lee and his career, IMO.
Sad stuff.
I mean, Ty always goes on long losing streaks and long winning streaks. So, but the problem really is that Tai Tuivasa makes so much money. I think he makes like $125K a fight. So that's $250 if he wins, and I think that his sponsorships will pay him like match his pay even. So he's just making so much damn money that I think he just has one foot out the door in the game. So
Ty and Lee, in my opinion,
I think that they just want to give him this opponent just as a really tough test. And unfortunately for Ty, even if he does win this fight, I don't really see him, having much of a successful career in fighting at the UFC level anymore.
I think he's going to successfully take the Joanna Jędrzejczyk rule and take the role and open up a few fucking bars and restaurants, and ride off into the sunset. But it would be nice for him to go out on a win. That's what I'm really fucking hoping for. And I think if it's not a grappler, he might actually have a chance. So it's my 2 cents, man.
Ty is just low IQ, in my opinion, not that big, is smart, but he's more willing to be patient too.
That's true. A lot of the guys had low IQs.
I think Rosenstruck's the more patient.
Yeah. We also have to remember that he was stumbling Cyril Gahn, who had sort of a technical approach to his fight, and he was able to.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think that that was one of the best fights I've seen in the heavyweight division in the last few years.
Yeah. It's a fucking shadow of its former self.
It's more just like the shape that Tai Tuivasa's in, dude. This guy, super fat.
Yeah, I am liking the haircut though. He's got the crew cut. It's back. I think we might get prime time. Trust.
All right, man. Well, any final thoughts on this card before we wrap this one up?
Thank God that it's more exciting than I thought it was before. Now I actually am in a pleasant mood going into Saturday. Who knows? We might get a fucking all-timer, dude. The prelims might actually deliver. There's actually a chance, dude. Either way, I think we're going to get at least fucking 3 or 4 fights that are going to be exciting. And I'll fucking watch for that alone. But, dude, I've been through fucking Apex cards that look absolute shit and been excited. So I don't know what the fuck's going to happen on Saturday. I never know what the fuck's going to happen. Okay?
Yeah, and I think we're am I at 7 wins or 6? I think I'm at 7.
You're at 7.
Yeah, so 7, 4, and 1.
So
one
make
tie.
that 8. Make that 8.
Wait, what's? Oh no! Come on, man. You got to climb back. You got to climb back. Make this competitive, man. Because to be fair, I've been on a little bit of a hot streak lately.
Yeah.
Earlier in the year, the first couple cards I did so bad.
Yeah. You started from the bottom, now you're here.
Yeah, and then I had a little bit of a slump after 300, around 300, but yeah, coming back. But anyway, I think that's the show, guys. I'm looking forward to the card a lot. Just like what Hank said, like we've just been in such a terrible slump of cards lately that I'm just hoping that for a good one. What is up, Vulcan? We're about to end the show, but go back and watch it if you'd like. See all of our fantastic reactions to this press conference that was. But yeah, man, I think that's the show. Lead us out.
You have escaped the war zone. For now. Get out of here, you crackers! You don't know my story. Trust! When I was doing the washing the bags with my father and then my mother was signing up for a nurse job. Hey, listen, it's the facts. You gotta listen to the facts. It's the facts. And you know I can be a crier sometimes, but I can still whoop that guy's ass on Saturday. Trust. Servants, hold me! I need to go to my...